By popular demand, here is a list of Wingfeather games for your party. Welcome to Celebrations Day, where we help Christian creatives to grow in their creativity and in their love for God. So, you guys asked for it. I'm so sorry it took so long. Life has been really busy, really full lately. I started homeschooling my kids, and I've been trying to figure out how to do art and homeschool at the same time. God's grace and mercy has been getting me through it, but it's been a trial. It's been a journey trying to figure out how to do that, and also to stay in peace and to give myself grace for when I can't do things. So thank you also for giving me grace when I can't put out a long video and it has to be the short little reels or the shorts, which is what they call them on YouTube. Thank you so much for your patience. So here is the video at last. If you're new to the party, what we've been doing is talking about different elements, different aspects of things that you can use to make the most awesome Wingfeather party. And we tried out a lot of these. I'm going to give you our examples of what we did, what we tried, and what worked, what we tried and maybe could have gone better, and also give you some ideas of things that we weren't able to do, but that we thought about them afterwards and they seem pretty cool. So let's talk games. The first game idea is one that we've already talked about, which is the Bat Fang Pinata. Every kid loves a pinata. Many adults do too. And here's a link to the video that describes how I made my own Bat Fang Pinata and how you can do it too. Idea number 2, ships and sharks. Do you guys remember this? Poto played it with the kids. There's always a way out, is what they said. In ships and sharks, there's always a way out. So my husband invented this game. It's basically this grid, and you can have the grid be as big as you want to. On the ground, you would want to space it out. We had to use rope to do it, but if you did it on like sidewalk or a driveway, you could just make a grid, with chalk or something like that. But basically, there's a path through the grid that the kids don't know about. It's almost like Battleship, but in reverse. So they need to find the safe route. The blocks do have to be connected that you invent in your head, and maybe like create a cheat sheet for yourself to remember what the safe way is through. Now, I've been told that this game resembles another game, which is called Gridlock, and let me know in the comments if you've heard of this game before too. I've never played Gridlock, so maybe we thought up a game that's exactly like another game that's already out there, but we called it Ships and Sharks. So basically, the kids line up on one side of the grid, and they are the ships. And all through this grid are sharks, and most of the squares are sharks. They're trying to find out which way is the safe way to go through the grid. Now you could dress this up with hats. You could have the kids wear ship hats. You could even have cards on the ground that you flip over, and they could have either a shark or it could have just the ocean. You could also do this on a smaller scale, just on a table with cards, and just draw little pictures of sharks and ocean. And then, so you can kind of figure out different ways to make this your own, but that's how we did it. And I wish that we had better video of how it went, but the kids had a lot of fun. Game number 3 idea is hit the fang. Now, if you are good with carpentry, if you know someone who could whip something up for you, like this thing right here that my husband built, then that would be awesome. The cool thing about building one of these structures to hit the fangs is that the kids can reload it themselves, and also it's very stable the way that he made it. But you also could accomplish this with just wooden blocks that the kids hit with bean bags. So this one is just kind of reloadable for the kids. They can just flip them back up when they're done, and you can do it that way, but there are easier ways to do it, so you could accomplish it that way too. And what I did is I drew a picture of a wolf fang and a lizard fang, and I just printed it out a bunch of times and let kids just kind of color it as they were arriving to the party. And that gave another activity that they could do. And if you want to see that file in the description, let me know, because I can put it up there. I just haven't digitized it yet. It's all in just hard copy, so I'd have to just go through the work of doing that. Let me know if that might be helpful to you. Now, the last game idea that we tried is pin the tail on the toothy cow. Now, this is super easy if you've already drawn the picture of the animals, and you can find the link right up here to the video where I showed you how I drew the image of the toothy cow. And all you would do is with thinner paper, sort of trace that out a bunch of times, and then you blindfold some kids and you have them try to tape the tail where it's supposed to go on the much bigger sized poster paper where you already drew the image of the toothy cow. Two ideas that we didn't get to try out, but which sound amazing, are Zibsy. Now, this is from a subscriber who suggested that we do a Zibsy game. That sounds really cool, and from the animated series, what it looks like you'd need to accomplish that are some hay bales for a goal, like not kind of like a soccer goal, but instead of it being like a hole, it's a hay bale, and possibly some brooms. I think that would be the safest thing to use with kids if you were doing this game with kids. In the series, they're using like pitchforks and stuff, but I think that's not quite very safe. And then you can just use a football to play it. The rules are that you're not supposed to use your hands. And then you could throw in some rule about when you have to freeze. In the series, it was when a broom hit a character, then he had to freeze. So I don't know how you'd want to accomplish that. You wouldn't necessarily want people to just go around hitting each other with brooms. And in the series, that's not what happened. He just got hit with like a flying broom and then he had to freeze. But you could come up with something else, like maybe if you get the ball stolen from you, you have to freeze or something like that. You can kind of make it your own, but use the general format, and that will remind kids or people that are grown-ups and just like to have fun. It will remind them of the series. The last idea that I thought of is not one that we had time to execute to see how it was going to work for ourselves, but it is one that sounds super awesome. However, it sounds really time intensive, and this is something that you could accomplish if you had a ton of extra boxes. Okay, you ready? Here's the idea. Castle Throg Maze. Now, in the books, when Janner and Kalmar are going through sort of the basement, sort of the dungeon of Castle Throg, and they're trying to find their way, it's very dark and it's like a maze for them. Why not make a maze out of boxes and call it the Castle Throg Maze? So you would have to figure out how to connect all these boxes, how to do it safely, how to rescue any kids that freaked out. So you might want to have it be either very simple or age appropriate, depending on what age you're making this party for. But if you have time, if you've got a ton of boxes, this could be really cool. If you guys make any of these ideas, if you try them out, I really want to know about it. Let me know in the comments, post and tell me how it went, what you thought, what you might do differently. If you have any other ideas for games, also put that down in the comments, because who knows, somebody later might come and see and be really helped by that. Now, I still have to make a video about how we made the maggot loaf. And after that, I think that's it. As long as we don't go into like how to make a fang lizard tail, which my husband wore one time, which was amazing, but it was very hard to make, and I threw it away because I wasn't like super happy with it. It totally worked for like a one-time thing, but we might maybe do a deep dive on that someday. But for now, all that I have left on the docket for this party resource that I've made for you guys is the maggot loaf. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to help you on your journey. And if you want to come on future creative adventures with us, please consider subscribing. Thanks so much for watching. Be so blessed.